Good evening. It's now officially 5:30, so we can start. Nice to see you all. Welcome, students. Great to have you. It's always the best part of our meeting when you're here. Hi. So we'll go ahead and do the official business of calling the meeting to order. We start with the Pledge of Allegiance and the salute to the New Mexico flag in English and in Spanish, and then an acknowledgement of tribal land. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Juro fidelidad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y a la república que representa una nación bajo Dios, indivisible, con libertad y justicia para todos. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Saludo la bandera del Estado de Nuevo México, el símbolo de amistad perfecta entre culturas unidas. Thank you. Now the acknowledgement of tribal land. One more. We acknowledge that our Board of Education meeting is taking place on occupied indigenous land. We acknowledge the Tesuque Pueblo lands and other tribal lands on which we stand. We honor these people, past, present, and future. We acknowledge the history and ongoing colonization of where we are sitting right now in New Mexico and in our country. We acknowledge our own place in the story of colonization. Thank you all very much. I also want to say thank you to all the family members who are here with your students. We know it's a school night, among other things, and many of you probably had busy days, so we appreciate you being here and giving us the treat that we'll have of these student performances. We move on to approval of the agenda. Superintendent, do we need any changes?
Good evening, everyone, and President Noble, members of the board. No changes this evening.
Madam President, I move to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Vice President Bozé with the motion, Dr. Gonzalez with the second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or otherwise? Okay, thank you. As ever, welcome to our student board members as well. Nice to see you. Okay, moving on our agenda, Roman numeral 2, introduction of interpreter. Superintendent.
Thank you, Board President Noble. With us this evening is Deputy Superintendent Vanessa Romero.
Para asistencia de traducción en español, el señor Lucero te ayudará.
Thank you, Deputy Superintendent. Now we move on to our school board showcase. That's the performance part. We start with Kearney Elementary School. How many of you are from Kearney? Just raise your hand. Okay, Kearney's over there. And then we'll do Cesar Chavez, but Kearney goes first. Superintendent.
Thank you, Board President Noble. With us tonight, Assistant Superintendent Mr. Carl Morano, who's actually the supervisor of both of our schools this evening. So he'll make brief introductions, and then we'll turn it over to the performances. Mr. Morano.
Board President Noble, Superintendent Chavez, members of the board, gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our directing principal at Kearney Elementary School, Mr. Jonathan Davis.
Welcome.
Good evening, President Noble, Superintendent Chavez, members of the board. We're so happy to be here with you all this evening, and we are going to start our evening off tonight with a little presentation about project-based learning that's happening in one of our 6th grade dual language classes. Specifically, our teacher is Jose Luis Hernandez, and he is working with his students on the interpretation of topographic maps. So I think you'll find this really interesting and engaging because it's a great example of multidisciplinary learning in the context of bilingual education. And it really offers us a window into a way that teachers and students can integrate numerous standards into one in-depth unit of study. So please enjoy. I'm going to introduce Jose Luis Hernandez with his students Ruby Rivas, David Rodriguez, Gabriela Narvaez, Eileen Arevalo, Axel Hernandez, Kendi Melara, and Jose Aldana.
Thank you very much. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you, all of you, for having us. We are so proud to be here trying to present our project based on the experience of my students trying to get a best idea about the topographical maps. It is not a pretty easy way to understand maps. It is probably the hardest one. And we're going to present our project. Okay, I developed this project trying to offer them several steps, trying to release how to use topographical maps. There are several situations where they were trying to do their own learning from their experiences. And this project was obviously based on the several standards about social studies, science, math, ELA, and SLA. Our core standard is about how to create and use maps, specifically about geographical maps, and this is about all the topographical maps. And from science standards, I think that is very important for them, try to define a design problem that can be solved through the development of an object. Now, my smart students, they are representing, or our classroom, are going to present the project.
What is a topographical map and how is it used?
¿Qué es un mapa topográfico y cómo se utiliza?
We started an essential exercise in which we had to draw the relief of an island in 2D, trying to show the heights and the unevenness between, without any other support than our previous knowledge and our useful ways of drawing.
Utilizamos textos y referencias de mapas topográficos, dándole sentido a su uso de rutas de montaña, acompañados de otras herramientas como la brújula.
We identified new vocabulary and new graphic examples of map legends and symbols.
Comparamos y contrastamos nuestros mapas originales con una muestra de un mapa topográfico.
After some debates and conclusion, I present what a sectional representation of a real mountain will be developed on a map. Then, how to build a topographical map in the classroom without sectioning any real mountain, of course, or using engineering tools. That's what they are going to present right now.
Let's create our own island. We had to model an island with 3 or 4 mountains or volcanoes connected to each other by their base. The mountains or volcanoes should have different heights and shapes, and they should never exceed 7 inches or 18 centimeters. The height of the mountains should be divided into equal parts of 1 inch or 1.5 centimeters. The materials we will be using are dry clay and rulers. We use collaborative work to build our model with the requirements I just read. Hicimos trabajo colaborativo para modelar según las instrucciones.
Cómo convertir nuestra isla en un mapa topográfico. Con este video el maestro nos hizo pensar cómo convertir un objeto en capas.
how to divide our islands into equal length layers. Los materiales para este proyecto son 2 reglas, un trozo de sedal y un marcador. The procedures for this project, we are going to use the rulers to lay the fishing line horizontally. Then we will rise the fishing line 1 inch or 1.5 centimeters each time and before using it. As a team, we will section our island into layers of equal size using the fishing line to cut the dry clay of our mountains or volcanoes. At all time, we will maintain the position of our mountains or volcanoes without moving them.
Trazaremos marcas lineales sobre nuestra montaña. Estas marcas servirán para tener una referencia al crear nuestro mapa topográfico. En el papel, las marcas de referencia facilitarán volver a colocar nuestra isla de manera correcta. Nuestra isla de mantas veces como necesitamos. Cut each layer correctly, fixing the fishing line at the same height in both rulers. Tighten the fishing line while other teammates hold mountains to carefully cut each layer. Repeat steps 7 and 8 with new measurements of 1 or 1.5 centimeters upwards each time. Go ahead.
Teamwork. Working as a team towards the common goal.
Creating our island topographic map.
Creando el mapa topográfico en nuestra isla.
Move our island over the paper. Draw the silhouette of the base elevation 0, sea level, and make the marks and references that we draw on our mountains and volcanoes.
Desde la capa más baja a la superior, dibujamos la silueta de la capa siguiendo cuidadosamente la posición correcta con las marcas referencias que dibujamos en nuestras montañas, volcanes. Colocamos la capa de nuevo en la isla y repetir el paso anterior.
Carefully, the mountain and volcanoes are separated, but we must make each drawing on our topographic map for each layer with all mountains, volcanoes at the same time. Crear la leyenda del mapa. ¿Qué significa cada línea? Colores, elevación del terreno.
Legends of our islands. We agreed that elevation 0, sea level, should be black and the rest would be chosen by each team. 2 more requirements were necessary. Place a compass rose to correctly position our islands and topographical maps. Identify each mountain volcano with symbols to add to our legends.
The best cross-island bicycle route. Scales, the relationship between the measurements of our topographic map and the actual measurement. Utilizando una regla, trazar una línea recta entre los puntos más alejados de la isla y pasando por al menos 2 montañas.
Con ayuda de la regla o del hilo de pescar cortaremos nuestra isla y situaremos una de las mitades para dibujar la silueta sobre un papel. Con este paso obtendremos la silueta del trazado de esa ruta en bicicleta que estamos diseñando.
On the silhouette, we will draw horizontal lines following the layers and heights to adapt the scale with which we are going to work. The scale is 1 centimeter for every 10,000 centimeters.
Finally, we will use pins and sewing thread to know the total length of the designed route. With the total length of that thread and applying the determined scale, we will know the total length of that route if our island had a real size.
There was 100% collaborative work participation.
There is 90% topographical map knowledges.
And 90% topographical map vocabulary. These were the main characters of our project.
Estos son los protagonistas de este proyecto.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Y muchas gracias para los dos lenguas. That's a real treat to get it in English and in Spanish. Okay, thank you, Kearney. Who's here from Cesar Chavez? Oh. Okay, well, you all are up next. On our school board showcase, we have Cesar Chavez Elementary School Superintendent.
Thank you, Board President Noble. With us tonight is our district music coordinator, Miss April Pickrell. And just want to tell the gentleman, awesome bow ties. I may need to get one of those for our next board meeting.
That was the first thing I wanted to say, guys. You look so sharp. You look wonderful. Thank you for coming dressed so nicely. Thank you guys for having us tonight. Michelle Arteaga is a native New Mexican, originally from Los Lunas, New Mexico. She taught music there for 10 years and has served Santa Fe Public School for the past 9 years. This is her 5th year at Cesar Chavez, teaching elementary bilingual music and regular general music. Michelle has her bachelor's degree from UNM and master's degree from Grand Canyon University. She is also very involved with the theater and music scene in Santa Fe. She performs with the Santa Fe Playhouse and also Teatro Paraguas in Spanish and English. These talented students are first graders from Miss Avila's, Miss Sanchez's, and Miss Galvin's classes. They will be singing a medley of 3 Mexican folk songs, Los Pollitos Dicen, La Cucaracha, and Chocolate Bate Bate. Please enjoy.
Thank you, Ms. Pickrell. Once again, thank you all so much. That was wonderful. And thank you, family members and everybody. Another round of applause. We appreciate you taking time out of your evening to be with us. Thank you all. And thank you, Kearney students. Love your topographical maps. Okay. Having lost most of our public, we will move on to public forum. Superintendent.
Thank you, Board President Noble. With us tonight, as always, taking us through public forum is our Public Information Officer, Mr. Cody Donarski.
Good evening, Board President, members of the Board, Superintendent Chavez. There are 2 people signed up for public forum comment tonight. I will read the ground rules or else I'll forget. Public forum includes online and/or virtual participation as needed, as well as in-person comments when the board holds in-person meetings. Please listen and speak with respect. No uncivil conduct will be permitted. Please do not discuss any specific student who is not your own. There will be no sharing of time. Self-monitor and observe the 3-minute time limit. I will give you a 30-second warning when your time is almost up. Public commentary and dialogue are only allowed during the public forum, not throughout the meeting. Please search for answers on common ground. You may speak on any topic, whether it is on the agenda or not. Your input will be taken into consideration. Please be advised that the board may discuss your issue during the meeting, but by law, the board cannot take actions that are not on the agenda. Please do not discuss employee matters which may result in disciplinary action. Instead, notify the employee supervisor, the Human Resources Department, or the superintendent. Our first comment tonight is from Scott Shucker. Good day, members of the board. As an SFPS high school teacher, I am highly disturbed by the high rate of truancy in my class and school. On any given day, at least 1/4 to 1/3 of all my students are absent and are failing the class. I know Superintendent Chavez and his team are doing all that they can to remedy this problem, and it appears some progress has been made, but I have not seen any difference in my classroom and wonder if the efforts are adequate. In addition, many of my students are just part-time, and some names on my roster are of students I have not met nor seen in my class, yet remain there for reasons I do not understand. It also seems that instead of giving students and their parents an ultimatum about this, they are instead given even more options to pass classes and graduate. Is it district policy that students who do not attend school at all remain enrolled? Is there anything else that can be done to ensure students either attend or be disenrolled? And the last comment is from Jennifer Warren. Hello, I'm a first grade teacher and would love to make the board aware of many differences in class size and other situations at schools within Santa Fe. At our school, the K and 4th grade classes are all over cap and many other classes are at cap, likely to exceed. On the other side of town, classes are much smaller. What can you do to support principals and thus teachers in this situation? There's a great need for assistance, and yet they are paid so little, no one wants these jobs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Donarski. Is there anyone here who would like to address the board who did not get a chance to sign up for public forum? Okay, moving on. We are at Roman numeral 5, our union update. Is there anybody here on behalf of the union? Ms. Grace Mayer is not in the audience. Okay. We have arrived at Roman numeral 6, student board member announcements and follow-up. Anybody feel like going first today? Looks like Mr. McGinnis is all raring to go. Go ahead.
Good evening, Madam President, Superintendent, members of the board. So some updates from Santa Fe High School include that 12 students made all-state band, 12 students made all-state choir, and 4 students made all-state orchestra this past week. Teachers Nina Bunker and Claire Noonan are now national board certified teachers. Chief Patricia Chip was awarded first place for VFW Citizenship Education Teacher Award at the local and regional level this past Saturday, and she will go on to compete at the state level this month. Several students at Santa Fe High have already received their college decisions with acceptances to schools from including Princeton and Northeastern. Our National Honor Society Club is registering students with the Santa Fe Alliance for Science to volunteer as judges for science fairs across the district. Additionally, we are volunteering to clean up the Arroyo de los Pinos as part of Love Your River Day. Some older but still relevant news is that Santa Fe High's wrestling team placed 4th out of 14 teams at the Alisar Wrestling Tournament in December. And Santa Fe High's Youth and Government Club is kicking off the semester with a field trip to the Roundhouse, so they'll be able to learn more about the legislative branch during the legislative session.
Reasonably short and sweet. Thank you very much. And huge congratulations to the new National Board Certified Teachers. All right, Ms. Gallegos, you're ready?
Yes.
Just go on down the line then.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Chavez. Some updates from Capitol is that we had our first ever SEL Day. We are thankful for the collaboration between CIS and Student Council to bring motivational speakers on campus. We had a local rapper named Defy, and it was really cool. There was a lot of students that were very happy to have someone from within New Mexico come. Our CHS band, choir, and guitar students represented our JAG community well at the state conference and competition. Our CHS DECA has received a Thrive Award. Our CHS team won in the Governor's STEM Challenge as well as in the Congressional App Challenge, 3rd place this school year too, and like last year. Our wrestling team had 1 boy and 5 girls place at Conflict this past weekend, and our girls took 6th place as a team. And last night we had 2 young ladies bring home crowns from Queen of the Mat from at Maya Mir and Gallup. And that is all.
And Ms. Gallegos, how did you do?
I was going to say, were you one of them?
At Conflict, I placed 4th, and last night I also placed 4th.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. Starting off with Desert Sage Academy. Desert Sage's new Cyber Patriot Club recently completed its middle school statewide computer hacking competition. DSA won 2nd place for the entire state of New Mexico. The club received a prestigious certificate of recognition in honor of the outstanding technical skill, problem solving, and teamwork demonstrated by placing among the top teams in the Cyber Patriot state level competition. Desert Sage also has 2 9th grade students that are officially taking dual credit college courses at the Santa Fe Community College. The course is Introduction to Software and Hardware, and these 2 students are making history as this is the first time Desert Sage has a student take a dual credit course, Desert Sage of course being a new school. All right, Mandela will be hosting the annual Chinese New Year celebration on January 27th from 2 p.m. until 3:40. Mandela's Mandarin teacher, Mr. Fu Mei Tsai, and her students will lead the entire school through dances, demonstrations, and other activities related to the Lunar New Year. please come to our please come out and help us celebrate the Year of the Rabbit. Mandela hosted its first ever alumni night on January 10 and 11 graduates from classes of 2020, 2021, and 2022 spoke on what they gained from their IB education and how it prepared them for university, and field questions from a very good showing of parents, current students, and positive applicants, prospective applicants. 8th grader Carrie Nadler has read books in the online app Sora for 130 hours and 53 seconds, or 7,853 minutes. This app is part of a literacy initiative in Santa Fe Public Schools. Carrie and another student from Milagro are now running in a tie for first place. Mandela 12th grade student Hazel Tiag Gustina received the honorable mention for the Scholastic Arts Contest. Mandela International Magnet School 10th grade art will have work in the upcoming artwork exhibition at the community gallery in the convention center. There will be an opening on January 27th. All right. Last but not least, my homeschool early college opportunities. On January 4th, students returned. Students switched core classes from first semester to second semester. Some new students enrolled. A few schedule changes were needed mostly for seniors. We had an increase of students in our ACE, a mentorship class. This class placed students in community for paid internships. Students are placed according to their personal interests. Some placements included Santa Fe Public Schools Elementary Schools, La Fonda Hotel, and the New Mexico Department of Transportation, to name a few. Let's see, on January 10th, Picture Retake Day. Retakes were scheduled for time to be determined. And January 12th, cap and gown presentation by Herf Jones to students planning on graduating. The presentation will include how to purchase items for graduation, such as a cap and gown, graduation announcements, and class of 2023 items. All right, that is all.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And as ever, thanks for representing all three of those schools.
All right, no problem. Bye.
Okay, moving along to board announcements and follow-up. Any announcements or follow-up from the board? Yes, Board Member Beta.
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to thank and congratulate Coach Ben Gomez from Capitol High. This last week, he won his 300th basketball game, and that is quite an accomplishment for a coach. He's won a state championship. They are always in the running for a state championship, and regardless of what class Capitol competes in. And I've had a lot of basketball players who grew up at the Boys and Girls Club, wanted to play for Capitol, played for Capitol. They'd come and work for us in the summers and after school, and even some after graduation. And I can tell you, they are the best employees we have, and they credit Coach Gomez for that. Anybody that knows Coach Gomez knows he runs a tight ship, but his players respond to him, they respect him, they love him, and more importantly, he loves them and is always there for them. And so, again, congratulations to Coach Gomez. We are lucky to have him. And if you don't mind thanking him for me, Superintendent, because good coaches like that are hard to find, and they make it look easy too sometimes. And we think that, oh, it's the kids or there's talent. Well, it's both the kids and a good coach, and we're lucky to have Coach Gomez. Thank you.
Hallelujah. And yes, I imagine that all board members would appreciate passing on that thanks. As Board Member Abeta says, it's rare, and they make it look easy. Thanks for bringing that. Any other board announcements and follow-up? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to superintendent announcements and follow-up.
Thank you, Board President Noble, members of the board. Just to piggyback off of some of the announcements that were made earlier, the SEL Day at Capitol High School was wonderful. I was in attendance, so were some of our team. Were there observing, taking a look at it, talked to the staff who planned it. We've asked other schools to follow in their footsteps, but we're also starting to look at incorporating one SEL Day per quarter next year across the district. So, you know, that could be a way of incorporating the increased time that could be passed this year. So we're looking at it being creative, but that was a great event. We were there, and I hope that the other schools follow suit this second semester, but also we're going to work with them to incorporating one SEL Day each quarter next year. And I heard the students liked it. I heard the staff loved it. So, you know, congratulations to that team at Capitol High School. I've also asked principals to work with their staff, teachers, to incorporate or develop a wellness room at each one of our sites. We're going to leverage our ESSER funding. They should be unique to the school community. It should not be a one-size-fits-all. We have some rooms that have exercise equipment. We have some rooms that are more like a zen. We've received requests of massage chairs. So we're making sure it does fit in the use of our ESSER funding, but it's a reinvestment in our staff, right? You invest in your staff, you're investing in your students, and hopefully it's a place for our staff to take a little break, disconnect, relax, and also show that Santa Fe Public Schools cares about not only our students but our staff. So I think this is another innovative way of investing back into our staff and really showing them that we care and we want them to be healthy. And I just wrote down another one real quick. I do want to introduce you guys to Beata Thorstensen. She is in transition to becoming our Executive Director of Assessment for Learning and School Improvement. There she is in the back. She will be replacing Dr. Suchit Sarangarm, who did promise when I got the job to stay on for 2 years. This is the conclusion of that second year, so he is going to retire. We were lucky enough to recruit her away from Rio Rancho Public Schools. She had been with APS. She had been at the state. Well respected. When you talk about her name, everyone knows her, just like they knew Dr. Sarangarm. So just want to say welcome, thank you. She hit the ground running. She's already working with the team. As you can see them nodding their heads yes. So we're excited that she chose to join us. And just in conversation with her, I asked her, why did you want to join us? And she said she had been watching the work we're doing, and she's really invested. She likes the standards-based approach that we're taking. So, you know, it's great to see that others from other districts are watching what we're doing and wanting to join us. So welcome and thank you. We are having our second movie night. This time it's going to be at El Camino. It's been posted on social media. January 27th at 6:30. So we invite all community members to come out and join. It's going to be Onward, a Disney Pixar film about two teenage elf brothers. Again, it's at El Camino. Inside, of course. Inside the gym this time, not outside. The doors will open at 5:30. There'll be some booths there, face painting, popcorn. We want to thank Santa Fe Police Department and our city and county fire departments for joining us. And again, it's a great event. We had about 400 or 500 our previous one, so we're hoping to have a great turnout again at the end of the month. On January 5th, we had our legislative breakfast with our Santa Fe delegation, which went really well. The board had asked legislators to provide flexible funding as far as the SED or the SEG, or the State Equalization Guarantee, and making sure that they fund it robustly. We have currently a booming oil and gas industry, and we're hoping to really have a big investment into education. They also asked for a greater than 4% raise for all school employees, and also to address some hard-to-fill positions. Also passed no unfunded mandates, which we know tends to happen annually, and we always do our best to meet the request of the state. And again, expand or move funding from community schools from below the line to above the line, because those coordinators, once that grant expires, the coordinators, if you choose to keep them, are at the expense of the district. So we want to ask the state to fund those. The board also asked to fund the 80-20 rule, which the state would pay 80% of the employee's health care benefits and the employee would be responsible for 20. Also create a New Mexico Office of Gun Violence Prevention, pass a common sense child access prevention law, and also raise the edge of purchasing certain rifles and ban assault weapons. We have also asked them to limit the sale of assault weapons to no closer than a mile from a school. Also allow 17-year-olds to vote. And then again, last but not least, replace our ESSER, or our elementary and secondary school emergency relief funds, and asking for anywhere from $7 to $9 million annually. And then again, congratulations, as you mentioned, to Capital and Mandela, both schools winning the Governor's STEM Challenge. Capital also took third in the Congressional App Challenge conducted by Congresswoman Teresa Ledger Fernandez. So congratulations to all those students who participated. And then last but not least, we have out-of-state travel coming up. We have our NJROTC traveling to Sandy, Utah, February 1st through the 5th. And they will be competing in the national JROTC Navy Marksman National Championships. We want to congratulate them and wish them luck. And that does conclude my superintendent's announcements.
Thank you very much. Any questions on the superintendent's announcements?
Madam President.
Go ahead.
Thank you. This wasn't covered in the announcement, but I was wondering if there's any update on COVID testing for SFPS.
Thank you, Vice President Bose, members of the board. So we are exploring providing additional tests. We're also exploring purchasing with partners a mobile health unit to provide more testing, vaccines, dental checkups, especially around the schools that don't have a health clinic. So we're exploring options. At this point, the state's not providing any funding to expand or continue with the COVID testing, so we're having to rely on the home tests at this point.
Thank you. Madam President.
Go ahead, Secretary.
Thank you. This wasn't covered, but I have another question outside of that. Don't mean to put you on the spot. Did I see that the pre-K lottery is open, and is the transfer lottery closing soon? Or no, I'm not sure.
Both, thank you, Board Secretary Anderson, members of the board. Both are open. Both are current. I've been talking to Vice President Bose about having open houses so we can start to advertise our schools a little better, get them in so they can make a better choice. So we're working on that, but it's currently open. All of the information's on our website, our social media platforms, and they can find all the information even if they call the front desk here. So we're trying to help make those decisions easier for parents.
Anything else on superintendent announcements or not? Just to say, I ran into one of our school principals, whom I won't name, but who was talking about the wellness rooms and saying they were a big hit with the staff. So that's nice to hear. Okay, moving on to our action items. We have a short consent agenda tonight. Any questions or anything that should be considered separately on the consent agenda? If not, is there a motion?
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez with the motion, Board Member Abeyta with the second. Any further discussion on the consent agenda? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed or otherwise? Okay, we've approved the consent agenda. Moving on to board discussion and possible action. Item A, I do not at this stage have updates on the reimagining, other than that I know the team led by Dr. Veronica Garcia has been at work getting ideas from the community. I heard a glowing review from the president of the Chamber of Commerce on a session that she attended. And of course, the first meeting of 2023 will be, as ever, on the third Thursday of the month. So that is next week, a week from today. Moving on, the superintendent's evaluation date. We did settle on January 28th, beginning at 10 a.m. Superintendent, maybe we could get a calendar invite with details. Do we know where? Here. Okay. So we'll be here. We've done it in the conference room previously. And, you know, I would say we should probably plan for lunch to be brought in, and board members, I would think we should allocate at least 4 hours. Maybe we can do it quickly. I will get with whoever is the next president to talk about the process, to make sure that we're clear on that. And Superintendent, we have the previous request for some comparable salaries. So if those could be provided to us beforehand to peruse, please. Anything else on the superintendent's evaluation? All right. Moving on to the, no, it's not the most fun part of the meeting. That was the kids. The bow ties. The bow ties and the topographical maps. Okay, so board organization. We have in our policies that in our first meeting of a new calendar year that we do our board organization, which is to elect a president, vice president, and elect a secretary. As I said at the last meeting, you know, and we've done this a lot of ways, and it has been contentious and not contentious during the time that I have been on this board. So, yes, I would vote for the second as well. Let's keep it not contentious. You know, as I have said, I do not want to continue as the president, even if that were the pleasure of the board. I have had the honor of serving for these past 4 years. It's a pretty long time, and I would even suggest that this board consider returning to what seemed to be the long-held convention when I took office, which was to rotate officers every year, at least every 1 to 2 years. A year can actually be a very short term, but I think that 4 years, there are a number of reasons, including a pandemic, that I have served for that long, but I think that it is good both to develop leadership and to keep things fresh, to rotate officers somewhat more often. So that's just a suggestion there, and I don't know when, if ever, somebody served for this many years in a row, but again, I feel truly honored and ready to not be the president anymore. I will also say I'm happy to serve in one of the other offices, but I am also very happy to not, and would even suggest that we have many qualified board members, so I'm happy to not be in any office, just to put my own cards on the table there. So what we've done in the past is, you know, we can do one of two things. Somebody can make a motion to elect the president, or anyone can make comments about their interest in one or another office, and we can discuss from there. But ultimately, it will take a motion, a second, and a vote for each of these offices. So with that, I think I'll stop talking and see if anyone else would like to speak on this particular topic. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump in then. And I will just go ahead and make a nomination, which is that we make our current Vice President, Sarah Bozet, the president of the school board. She has served quite some time on this board, has been vice president for, I don't even know how long. If it's only a minute. Does it feel like only a minute? Secretary for a while. Okay. And, you know, I believe she is interested and ready to be the president. So I'll go ahead and make a motion to nominate Sarah Bozet to be the president of the school board.
I'll second that.
Thank
and
you.
I was going to nominate her too.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or otherwise? Okay, we have a new president. Next, we have our vice president position. Oh, yes, go ahead.
Congratulations, Miss. Miss Bose. Congratulations on the new position.
Now we move to elect a vice president. Any thoughts, comments, nominees, motions?
I move that we elect Sasha as
I'll
vice
second.
president.
I second that.
All right. We'll have Dr. Gonzalez with the motion. I don't know what to call her, but Sarah Bose with the second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed or otherwise? Okay. We have a vice president. Thank you.
You don't have to sign.
Yes, which is true. That brings us to our final officer position, Secretary of the Board, which does involve a lot of signing along with the president. So, any thoughts, nominations?
I would like to nominate Mr. Abeta to be secretary. I'll second.
Get my pen ready.
Any further discussion? This is, if you want to object or anything. All right.
Speak now.
Okay, we have a motion and a second that Board Member Abeta becomes our board secretary. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or otherwise? All right, congratulations, Mr. Secretary. That was lovely. That was the best it's ever been. Thank you. Yay for no contention. And this is always, I will go ahead and keep going. It's part of the reason we put it at the end, because it's always confused me as to once you elect new officers, I sort of feel like you should take over. Do you want to take over running the meeting? Please go ahead.
I didn't expect to be so emotional, but I do feel really very, very honored, and I want to extend gratitude to Kate for being such an inspiration. Thank you. Last week during our legislative breakfast, I used a word to describe one of the incredible achievements of SFPS in 2022, and the word that I used was holistic. It's a word I've used often in my professional career in healthcare, but it's not as common a word used in education, and I'd like to see us change that. The fact is, much of the work we already do is holistic, whether we recognize it or not. We started many years ago in education thinking about the whole student, their social, emotional well-being, their nutritional status, the kind of supports they had outside of school, recognizing the factors traditionally outside of teaching and learning, that impact teaching and learning. This is a holistic approach. Thinking about how we can affect these factors to better care for students, such as we do in community schools, is holistic. The whole student is so important. There is a bigger picture, though. The bigger picture has become more and more clear in the last 2 years and 10 months since COVID impacted our schools. We all became acutely aware of the crucial role of schools in our society. Our society needs schools, and our schools also need society. In the early months of COVID, the early months of my tenure on the board, one of the phrases I repeated most often was, "It takes a village." This is a fact. Our culture at large might have us forget this and rather have us believe in the tale of rugged individualism. I hope we all know how incredibly untrue that is. I'm so grateful for all the families and businesses that stepped up to support education during the pandemic. Challenges and hardships, while scary and full of uncertainty, can also often illuminate new opportunities. I'm so proud of our district and the innovative programs, initiatives, and overall approach to education in the last couple of years. The achievement I was referring to during the legislative breakfast was the summer programming done during 2022, using community partners, school sites, and federal funds to offer a wide variety of educational opportunities for students in Santa Fe at no cost to families. This is a holistic solution, providing a safe and dynamic environment for students and a financial relief to families during a stressful economic time. We also do this with the Child Care Center, with the board's commitment to cover increases to employee health insurance, our student internship program, and many more programs. I believe we can fully recognize the potential of public schools, not overnight or even in 1 year. This is a long game, and successes aren't always noticeable immediately. But this board is so committed to working hard for Santa Fe, for education, for students, for staff and families, and for the incredibly important role the schools play in our community as a whole. I'm so honored to be named as president. Thank you very, very much. If you want me to sit there, I will, but I'm fine.
I'm just going to pass you a gavel here. You can have a gavel. And you can bang it if you want or not. All right. We'll just go ahead and move through advanced planning. Anything to change on advanced planning?
No, nothing to change this evening. Board President Noble, just a reminder, we have our first CRC next Wednesday, and that will be remote.
Okay. And we do have on advanced planning the superintendent's evaluation, the special meeting with executive session. So there it is. Anything else on advanced planning?
Madam President.
Yes, go ahead.
Before we adjourn, I wasn't sure if to bring it up under board discussion or board announcements because I'm still feeling my way. But I brought with me this evening a resolution that was introduced by the mayor, Councilor Amanda Chavez, Councilor Sig Lindell, Councilor Carol Romero-Worth, and Councilor Jamie Cassett. It's a resolution relating to firearms, recognizing that certain city properties are used for school-related activities, which make the carrying of a deadly weapon on such properties a fourth-degree felony. It directs the city manager to work with staff to post notice on such facilities. So I just wanted to make sure that all of our board members got a copy of the resolution. I think it's, from my perspective, commendable that the mayor and these councilors are taking a look at city facilities that our students use. And while I don't know what the wishes of the board members are, I certainly will, in my individual capacity, send in a letter of support to the rest of the governing body for this resolution. And so again, I just wanted to share that with everybody and publicly thank and acknowledge the mayor and these councilors who have brought this resolution forward for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, and I apologize for blowing through, not asking if there was anything else for board discussion and possible action. And just reversing a tiny bit, is there anything else for board discussion and possible action? Or future? Okay, thank you for bringing this, Secretary Beta. All right, and we've been through advanced planning. So with that, if there's nothing else, we are adjourned. Thank you.